It seems like there's some level of consistency behind sort of pushing the boundaries and not necessarily wanting to play within the rules with entrepreneurs. How much do you think rebellion plays a role in being a successful business person?
Yeah, so you got to realize there's a big difference between being a rebel without a cause and rebel with a cause.
Bingo. True.
Big difference. So younger Pat was rebel without a cause. The more mature, controlled Pat was rebel with a cause.
Love it.
And so that part's crystal. I don't mind rules. I don't mind laws. I have a problem with rules. I'm not trying to change the law. I'm trying to figure out a way to bend the rules.
Right.
Because sometimes
it's all within ethics, but it
has to be. Yeah, because
you're redefining an industry, though. I can see that firsthand. I can see that you have completely reinvented this insurance concept.
And I appreciate you saying that. I wrote a book, which I don't recommend you reading because it's such a niche book. I wrote it years ago called The Next Perfect Storm. It's only about life insurance. So if
I noticed you don't push that book very much.
I never push that book. No, because I separate the two businesses I run, and I'm not trying to. I don't like exploiting. I want people to know if I'm doing business with you.
Can we talk about both of them today?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, and you want to buy this and have this. I don't like doing that. I just want here's who I am with this audience. Here's what I'm doing over here. But this is the part that's important about the whole thing with deciding to change and focus on that audience, and then at the same time, being the underdog. When I look at a market, you have to be able to speak to a market. I can speak to the underdog market very easily because I know where they're at. My number one earner today is a woman. Today, she's a woman, number one earner. And she's only 32 years old, 31 or 30. She's going to probably end up making $2 million a year this year, okay?
Good for her.
Her and her husband, which they're great at what they do with the business.
So they work together?
They work together, yes. But she is the one that gets the commissions. And so I looked at the market. I said the average agent's a 59-year-old white male. I kept going to insurance conferences. The only one that wasn't white was me. I'm Middle Eastern. And insurance.
Right, and you're in your late 20s,
yeah,
or
my late
30s
20s.
at that point.
All these CEOs are in their 60s, 70s. It's a legacy business. Dad gave it to the son, and son's running it, et cetera, et cetera. So great industry to be a part of. But we went in a complete different direction. I looked at Ron Paul. Okay, Ron Paul, who ran for office multiple times. But when he ran in '94, he went on MySpace and he raised $6 million on MySpace in 24 hours. Became a Guinness Book of World Record.
No kidding.
How is a 70-year-old man raising $6 million on MySpace?
Yeah.
In 2004.
MySpace was so new too. Social media was unheard of.
So guess who picked it up? In 2004, which Democratic senator gave a message that shocked the entire DNC? Barack Obama. He gets up, he gives this message, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, we got somebody we can rally behind. We can make this guy a president. 4 years later, he raises a couple $2 billion purely through social media, becomes a two-term president, and then the next president, Donald Trump, our current president, you take Twitter out. Do you really think Donald Trump's president today without Twitter? I think a big part of his campaign is Twitter. So you have to understand the game is changing so much, and I'm looking at Pac Life. Pac Life is still advertising a big whale jumping out of water. Oh, here's Pac Life. Here's Pac Life. Here's Prudential. All these guys are making all these different people the heroes. I said, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to make the guy or the gal that's doing the work the hero, and the agent that goes at night selling at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night after driving for an hour and a half. You are the true hero. Without you, this industry is going to be extinct. So I gave all my attention to them. Once the attention went to them, and we sat down and figured out a way to realize men, we have an easier time saying no to men, but we have a harder time saying no to women.
Interesting.
So if a woman comes to sell you and I, we're going to be like, wow, she's smart. She knows what she's doing. And she knows this. Yeah, sure, I'll do business with you. But a guy like, I got to watch game, and what do we got going on? How much time? You got 15 more minutes. You're never going to be like that with somebody else purely out of respect, right? Because whatever ethics or whatever values was passed down to us, always respect women, never put your hands on them. All these things that we've always told. Respect, open the door. So I looked at it and I say, great. And to me, my experience, women are workers and they have big dreams. They have a chip. There's a lot of new women coming up that want to compete in the marketplace. We're going to take the social media side. Millennials are dying in the insurance industry. Insurance industry has no clue how to recruit millennials with their Cole Haan shoes and their Brooks Brothers suits. We got to change this game up. And then that became an opportunity. And at first, nobody looked at it and said, wow, these guys are doing something right. What's going on over here? Everybody said, oh, what are you doing here? Why are you going after minorities? Why are you going after...
It's very multicultural, and I think that's a huge advantage in a way.
Today it is, but they didn't say that 9 years ago when I was
you had to
pitching
pioneer
this.
that.
Yeah.
So you famously wear a 1.8 GPA shirt, right? I love that shirt.
Yeah.
By the way. So you obviously, the book smart side wasn't really your shtick, right? So what was it that, I mean, what was school actually like? I mean, because here's where I had you wrong. I thought for sure he's got to be an athlete, right? You're a big guy. You've talked about bodybuilding. You talked about, hey, after I got out of the military, you're looking for what's next, right? Because you went into the Air Force after you graduated high school.
Yeah.
And then professional bodybuilding was on the list, right? It was an option. So I'm thinking he had to have played sports, but you didn't. You shocked me here. You come in and you say, I never once played organized athletics.
And here's the thing, though. Here's what you got to realize. Like, I know what I'm weak at. I know what I'm weak at. I'm very comfortable with that. I have very quick, fast twitch muscles. My reaction's very quick. I ran very fast. When I was in the military, we would sprint with everybody. So I'd be beating 95% of guys.
You probably would have killed it in sports.
I would have, but my parents, we had no money. I started working at 14 years old at Häagen-Dazs. I lied on my age to get the job because I was tall. Elaine, if you ever see this, Elaine, I lied to you about my age. She was the owner of Häagen-Dazs at Glendale Galleria. But she hired me and she gave me the job. I said, I don't have an ID. She says, no problem. Come on in. I worked. I got paid. So I started working very early. And then after that, I was always, from 3:30 was practice. Any sport you played, so I was going straight to work. And I was always selling, working. So never really got into organized sports. Here's another interesting fact about me that most people don't know. You realize from 9th grade to senior year, I have never once missed a day in school. I've never ditched.
So your first day in college, right? Your first semester in college, first day of college,
high school.
But then
never missed.
But then let's jump ahead
in college,
to college.
no doubt about it.
Go?
Teacher told me, he says, you don't have to be here. I said, no problem. You will never see me again. So I left. But here's the thing that the part that had me going. I had a teacher named Miss Sinclair, whom I loved till today. Very good friend. She writes me letters. She just sent me a recent letter. 14 years old, help and guidance teacher. She was a major in the Army, ended up becoming a colonel. She's one of the main reasons why I joined the U.S. Army. I went to the 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault. She impacted my life. I had another teacher named Mr. Woods who taught algebra in a way I liked. I had Miss Tiffany from biology, whom I failed, but I loved the teacher. I had Mr. Panosian who taught English, who's a great teacher. And so I like people. I've always liked people. Like even when you and I sat down for 30 minutes, I'm asking you questions. I'm curious about you. I'm curious about him. I'm a people product. I'm always fascinated by people's stories. My flight today, I sat next to a guy named TJ, whose real name is Tim O'Donnell. He told me his whole story. I can tell you about his dad, his sisters, his mom, his 2 kids. I can tell you what his kids' name are, when their birthday is, everything for an hour and a half. Phenomenal conversation. We exchanged text messages. We're talking. I was a people person, so I love stories of people. But I had no desire to sit down in physics because I'm never going to use it in my life.
Had you ever explored sales throughout your teenage years?
Never organized.
Sample it?
Never organized. I never did organized sales. Now, at the same time, in school, I would go with 2 different backpacks. One was books, one was hats. I'd buy hats from my dad's 99-cent store, and the teams I would buy were the teams that were the worst teams in any sport. So San Jose Sharks, they were last, I would buy their hats.
Okay.
LA Clippers, they were last, I would buy their hats for 99 cents, but I would sell it for $7. So I would make $6 on it in school. So everybody knew, you want a Clippers hat? Here's $7, $7, $7.
So you had a side gig going.
Yes, always. Always. So, I had to figure out a way to make money. My mom would go to sleep at 11 o'clock at night. I'd get in the backyard. I'd go grab my cart that I had from Albertsons. I had a route to go through all the trash cans. I would collect 2-liter bottles and all the cans, and I'd go to Albertsons. I'd do the recycling, come back at 2 o'clock in the morning. She's still asleep, and I made $20 that night. She had no idea.
So you'd sneak out to go make money?
Every night.
That is incredible.
I wanted the Sergei Fedorov rookie card, upper deck. Like literally, I'm telling you, it sounds weird. 1991, Sergei came out, and I wanted this Sergei Fedorov rookie card. I wanted this Shaq Stadium Club 1992 that he came out. So I said, I'm going to go recycle and figure out a way to make money.
So a couple of observations. First of all, you're an incredibly observant person, right? So on top of being a complete numbers geek, right, you're going in and you're looking at what kind of career choices do I have available to me. You're saying, well, bodybuilding is a little too hard on the body, really no real way to make good money. You're then looking at, maybe if you could go back in time and do it over again, you'd be somehow in the production world, right? Looking at directing or producing or even being in front of the camera. I think you've got a gift for all of those things. That's obvious. How much do you think this gift of curiosity, this gift of of being observant. How has that played a role for you in being a successful entrepreneur?
It's a good question. People haven't asked me that question. I would tell you probably a lot for a couple of reasons, because most people are not.
I agree with that.
So when I see somebody that does proper research, like you've done research and all this stuff, that says a lot about your character, and that is the best way you give me respect, by doing research. I see sometimes I sit with somebody and there's no notes, no nothing. They're just trying to wing it to land a good interview, but they haven't done any research. That doesn't show any respect to the guest that you're having. That's number one. I think also curiosity. I told the guy today who was sitting next to me, he says, Pat, I'm struggling with my kids. I said, tell me what you mean. TJ, yeah, he said, my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old. He said, I really screamed at my oldest son because he wasn't really giving everything in the game, and I feel really bad. What do you think about it? So I said, I went through the process with him. I said, look, one time I did, it was pretty bad. It was pretty ugly. I couldn't sleep for 2 nights straight. I felt so bad as a parent. I'm like, you lost the last 2 days, Pat. So he came back and I said, I think most of the time when people ask questions to get answers, they're asking questions about experiences and stories, which is great. I said, one thing changed with me about what I asked questions was, I started asking questions from people about systems. What do you mean, Pat? Let me explain. When a husband and wife tell me, oh, we've been married for 50 years, I would say, okay, walk me through, were you guys ever close to having a divorce? Yes. How many times? 3 times. Can you tell me the years? You're 3, you're 22, you're 39. What were the reasons for each, and what did you guys use to make sure you saved that? Well, the first one was his ex got back in the picture. So he was kind of figuring out what he wants. I'm not like, listen, it's me or her. The second one was our kids really got our life to be difficult, and the in-laws got involved. The third one was health. Sexually, I couldn't have sex for 6 months, and he was being frustrated, and we went through it, because sex at 20 when you're married is different than sex at 64. Because at 64, it's like, well, you don't have sex 2 or 3 times a week. Now you're having sex once every other week, but you still need it. So how do you do it? He still needs to be pleased. I need to be pleased. So you need a little bit, it's more embarrassing. It's more uncomfortable. Each time was a different conversation. So I said, what is the system? What did you guys use? What was the protocol used? I'm looking for systems on how people solve issues. So a part of the curiosity is also going deeper. I think there's different levels of curiosity. One curiosity is, how'd you like the movie?
Exactly.
It was a good movie. Awesome. Should I go watch it? Yes.
Small talk, chit-chat.
Yes. But there's a different layer of curiosity that takes you 5, 10 layers deeper. That's what I'm interested in. And I think
because you learn from it.
Every time.
So it is self-serving in a lot of ways, right? This curiosity is, how can I then use this information as a bit of a resource for myself?
It is absolutely self-serving. So again, the reason why somebody watching this ought to say, yeah, but isn't that intruding, and isn't that going a little bit too deep? First of all, I've never met anybody that told me, wait.
Right, that's too personal.
That's too personal.
I've
never had anybody tell me that, right? But the second thing is that no one in the world, like, look, if you're a single guy, you go on a date. A guy says, I'm trying to get a really hot girl. Okay, which one do you like the most? This one here. Perfect. Name of the game. 90% of the time she talks, you talk 10%. Now, what do most men do? Well, I'm an executive at my company, and let me tell you who I am. She honestly doesn't care.
That's right.
She wants you to know who she is. Yeah.
Right.
So if you're doing that, then there's the aspect of, wow, this person really cares. Yeah. But you're also learning. So there's a benefit to the person that you're curious about, and there's a benefit to you because you're getting more information to be able to know if this is a good fit or not, or if this is just a fun relationship you're going to have.
Key to sales, ironically.
I tell you, curiosity, both parties win. Both parties win in curiosity.
If you guys want us to bring Patrick back at some point, please drop a thumbs up on this video. Leave your comment below. What questions did we not ask that you'd like to hear from him the next time? So grateful for your attendance today. Patrick, thank you again so much.
Thanks for having me.
Really
great interview. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All righty. So I realize that some of you have not gotten one of the single most popular budgeting tools available, not to mention it's free, and that is called the Cash Flow Cruncher. So what I want to do today is walk you through the process of downloading your very own copy. It comes in the form of an Excel spreadsheet, so it's very easy to use, and it's quick to navigate. So let's go ahead and walk through that process together. The first thing you'll do is in the search menu, you'll go to cashflowcruncher.com, which will take you to the download page. Simply type your email address into the field to claim your free copy, and go ahead and select the red button. Immediately it'll pull up the download button, which will open a new Cash Flow Cruncher spreadsheet. Now you can see I've already got a copy open and enlarged here for you to see. The first page it'll open is the Cash Flow Summary tab, which is a non-editable page. It's very important to understand that this opening tab will not require you to put any information into these fields. This actually imports the data from the other tabs below. Now, if you've ever used an Excel spreadsheet, you'll navigate the spreadsheet by going to individual pages down here. And it'll start with the revenue and assets page. On this page, you'll want to itemize each individual income that you bring into the household or the business. Now, it's always been my recommendation that you create an individual cash flow cruncher for your businesses, an individual cash flow cruncher for your real estate, and an individual cash flow cruncher for your house.